Good evening. Welcome back to the Man United Agenda. I've got Mr. B and TalkMU, and we're talking about 3 key players for next season. Good evening. I'm Wonder Juma here from the Man United Agenda. I am joined today by the wonderful Mr. B. How are you doing, sir?
Wonderful, thanks. I'll pay you a tenner in a minute.
You were missed yesterday. Your ears must have been burning because people were talking about the name in your absence.
Yeah, I heard about the duet that you wanted me to do with my dad. Oh, sorry, my son. Sorry.
Yeah. You kept that one quiet, Mr. B, but yeah, I'm starting to have my doubts, you know. I hope you're paying maintenance, bro.
and down below, big up TalkMU. How are you doing, sir? What's been going on today, man, with you?
Oh, no, just, usual stuff, work, shops, cooking, doing things on the computer,
On a scale of 1 to 10, how's your emotions? 10 being high and passionate. How are you feeling today?
Man, 10, man.
He's always on a 10.
It's going to be an exciting show, guys. It's going to be an exciting show.
I'm always on fire.
Just before we start, I mean, obviously, we're sort of down in the dumps, all fans at the moment. So we're going to go through some gossip news. Some things might be inspirational. Some things you guys might disagree with. But we've got 3 guys we're going to chat about today. The first guy is going to be Richarlson. You probably heard the news. We're going to talk all about Richarlson. Then we're going to talk about Maguire. Question mark about him. People are disappointed with his form. There could be a replacement in mind for him. Someone's been suggested. And finally, we're going to talk about someone who's already on our books and on loan for the last 2 seasons. And that's James Garner. We're going to be checking through the Rockford files and investigating all things James Garner. So just before we start, I want to say hi to Matteo, all the way from Miami. How you doing, Matteo? Big up. He says, hello, everyone. Good topic. He really likes Carlson. We're coming on to that. But some people, not so much. Yeah, it does.
I don't think Pat likes cabbage. You don't like cabbage, Pat. I'll tell you what, mate. You got to try it, mate. Cabbage and mustard seeds. It's banging.
Big up Pat Lawless, man. How you doing, Pat Lawless? Welcome back.
Yeah, man.
Cabbage. God dear. And Matthew Bassett in the house said good evening to everyone here on the panel. Big up Matthew Bassett.
Big up Matthew.
And Richard Herbert as well. Big up Richard Herbert. And Cosmans just in time.
Well.
Okay, so here we go. What's the first topic? Let's bring up the bubble. It's all about this guy, Richarlson. So basically what it is, I mean, we're talking about a rebuilding program here. In the news, you might have seen it in the news if you're really digging deep. There's some stories about we're interested in Richarlson from Everton. Now, he cost 50 million from Watford. He's a young Brazilian. He scored 5 goals. He's top goal scorer in the Olympics recently. But his goal output isn't great. I think Mr. B is going to go on to that in a second. And they're talking about him to bolster our squad. So let's have a little discussion about him, because at first, when this came up, I was a bit like frowning. But the more I sort of dwelled into it, I think it's worth discussion and debate. So, Mr. B, over to you. Stats and information about this guy, Richarlson.
Okay, look, obviously you've got his main stats up for this season already, but it's the total stats that I'm more interested in. 163 appearances, 42 goals, 14 assists. The interesting part of those 42 goals, though, is that 40 of them have been in the box. So I'm wondering if that's what the club maybe have seen in regards to something that they're looking at, say a fox in the box. I mean, his goal ratio is 1 in 4, but we got to understand that a lot of those games he was playing out on the left, and he does play out on the left because Calvert-Lewin obviously plays up front. But again, he's also Brazil's number 9. So, they don't normally get those choices wrong. Well, bar Fred. Was it Joe? Fred that they had? Yeah, I mean, look, all right, yeah, you know what, they do get it wrong a few times, so you know what, maybe I'll skip on that point.
Serginho in 1982.
God, yeah, all right, you know what, OMONDI, they've had some stinkers. All right, I'll scrub that one. Yeah, they've had some bad ones. I'll be honest, I'm not sure what boat he falls into, OMONDI. I'm struggling to get excited about about him as a player. I understand it could be squad, in which case then I would believe he would be coming in to be replacing Cavani. Because I'm going to assume Ronaldo's going to... We're not... Look, that's a whole nother issue. Let's not drift off what we're talking about. But I'm looking for you to inspire me, man. Tell me about Richarlison. Inspire me. Make me feel that this is a guy that could do something at Old Trafford.
Well, I mean, firstly, what I want to say is about this guy is he's a very confident. He's a very confident player. That's the first thing I notice about this guy. He's very confident. He's got an attitude. He's got attitude. And we know about his athleticism, his pace. He's pretty good in the air as well. To be fair to him, he really is good in the air. You know, if you go back and watch all his goals, you know, but not you don't have to watch all of them. You just watch you know, there's a few clips there on YouTube. You go and watch them if you like. You know, they scored some cracking goals. He's got listen. There's loads of things to like about this guy. His physical attributes, his skill on the ball, his first touch, his striking ability, and I believe that for him, I think the perfect fit would be a club like Manchester United. But
really,
yeah, and I'll tell you why. Because, like I said, because of his confidence, he's got that kind of swagger. He's that kind of I want to be the number one guy. But the problem I see though is I don't see it lasting long. I think he would be a 1 to maybe 2 season player who would then. And I think he would do well at United if he came in. Not talking about main striker or anything like that, but I think he'd do well at United, but only in a short term. Do you know what I mean?
It's really interesting that you guys comment because everyone sees things differently, don't they, with players? I think sometimes you expect someone to be blowing up, scoring goals per game, that kind of thing. But when you really look at him as a player, he's physically strong. Great insight there from TalkMU, talking about he does score a lot of headed goals as well. He's about 6 foot tall. He's pretty nippy as well, pretty fast. And at first I was like, no. But then when I looked at it, when I looked at the players that could be leaving, we got like Greenwood's not in the running anymore. Rashford is in poor form. Ronaldo might leave. Martial might not be there. Cavani might not be there. So could he fill in one of these squad rotation positions? And he's proven in the Premiership as well. So it's a big question mark. I don't know what. Can we just quickly fire away with the people in the comments? Because some good comments coming in here because it does cause stir a lot of debate. Matthew saying Nunes from Benfica and Jonathan David from Lille would be a better signing for us.
Just I'm with Matthew Bassett on that one. Nunes isn't signing a contract. Nunes actually is not signing a contract. So I would be looking at maybe value for. I know we all get excited about, you know, the foreign player coming over. I understand Richarlison's not English, he's Brazilian, but I think I've seen enough of him to maybe not have that excitement. Whereas if somebody else comes in, he could be worse than Richarlison, but you're always going to have that level of excitement about a new player coming into your team.
There's one thing we have mentioned is value. I mean, the value here, obviously, what I'm looking at and what I'm reading here is at one stage it was 85 million. You're like, what? But now it's at around about 49. So
that's what they paid for him.
So yeah, you know, if the question we've got to ask ourselves is, would we get him for that kind of similar figure, or would they be wanting to try and hyperinflate it? But I can't imagine that they would, because the numbers that he's got recently for Everton are, like we said, they're not the greatest. But for me, as a strength and depth, you know, it'd be worth the money.
So just quickly going on, Box is saying Carlson screams of an Arsenal level signing. I think that's old news now. Arsenal are up there now, aren't they? They're getting better. Cosman's saying he's a hard worker, a bit like Fred. And hi, Diz Mob. How you doing, man? Big up.
Welcome.
He says Richarlison hasn't got good movement. So he has.
He has got good movement.
Richarlison got good movement. Okay.
Movement. Yeah.
And Box is saying he cost 50 million when he went to Everton. They want to make a profit, so you're looking at 75 million. That's what he believes. And finally, Batten saying, I've had enough of short-term options. It's because of the short-term options that we're currently going backwards at the club.
Exactly.
So finally, our own manager, he's saying, with the right manager, he would be a good signing for us. He's a Premier League proven player, 45 million, and he would take him.
45 mil. Sorry. I mean, let's. He scored 4 goals. He scored 4 goals.
this season.
And if Everton get relegated, there's no way that Manchester United or anybody is going to be spending £45 million on Carlson. Even if they stay up, is he worth 45 million? And then you look at a budget that we may or may not have. I just don't see that as a viable option. But guess what? My opinion don't count.
Let me say this, Mr. B. Let me say this. For the other price suggested there, no chance. If Everton are going to start asking silly money, then he's staying at Everton, isn't he? Something right.
So, guys, let me just clarify a couple of things here. Considering he's sort of like a Rashford player, he did play on the left for Watford, did play on the left for Everton as well. It's only through injuries. Sometimes he plays down the middle. Obviously, Mr. B picked him up. Like I say, he's Brazil's number 9. He was top goal scorer in the Olympics recently with 5 goals. He also scored a hat-trick for Brazil as well. He was top goal scorer in 2018-19 with Sigurdsson for 13 goals. And the following season, he was equal top goal scorer again with 13 goals for Everton with Calvert-Lewin. So he can score goals, but that's not prolific, is it? So there's other factors we have to look at: his movement, his ability, his heading ability. What will he offer a team? I'm going with this. This is my final verdict on it. I want to know what you guys think. I'm saying if it's about boosting the squad, he's proven Premiership player. I wouldn't pay too much money for him. Depends on if Everton go down. I think it's worth a gamble if you're paying 35 to 45 million, like our boss Solo said. But beyond that, I think you're taking a risk. He's 24 now. I can't see. I've seen his game. I don't see him being outstanding, but I can see him being a squad player, considering we've got so many players possibly leaving. Mr. B, what's your final verdict?
Not even as a squad. If it's 20 million or 25 million, then it's a no-brainer. But I can't see us Man United getting a player for those kind of prices anyway. I just no, man. I would like to think there was better. If he comes, I'll always support. You know me, I support everybody until they piss me off. But yeah, look, if it's a signing that they're gonna make, accept. But he wouldn't be first, second, third, fourth, or even 5th choice.
So okay, fair enough. Over to you, TalkMU.
Yeah, again, I think for the right kind of price, I think for strength and depth, just for having more options on the bench. Because listen, if we're going to challenge next season, we need a big squad. It's not you're going to challenge in this league, and for the big trophies, you've got to have a big squad because there's a lot of games to be played, and you do need some levels of quality in that squad. So listen, we know the board are going to have to spend a lot of dough, but like I say, 30 mil max for me, especially if they get relegated. Your big up door on tour there. He'll have something. He'll be interested in what we're going to be talking about shortly.
Yeah, that's coming. That topic's coming on last. So stay tuned, Door on Tour. We will be talking about all things Garner when we open up the Rockford files on him. Box is saying we've got to break this down now. Box is saying Richarlson is no Lukaku, who we also got from Everton. Seems like we're downgrading. That's. Guys, do you agree with that? Diz Mob saying I like Richarlison, but he wouldn't be my first choice. Carlson was saying 25 mil is a good price for him. They would take a loss there. Solo saying, we are Man United. We would pay that. That's true. Andy Herbert saying, I agree with Mr. B. It's all about goals from a striker.
Yeah, you want goals.
Diz is saying, I think he could link well with Rashi. The energy is similar, but the yellow hair. Box is saying could link up well with Rashford as well for mid-table club. Oh, God. So it's all up in the air, isn't it? Just say hi to UK Strange. And big up Tour on Tour. Hang around, mate. And everyone in the comments, please press the like button. So for me, I'm still like that with Richarlison. He hasn't set the world on fire, but he's a good player. He's a pro player. I just like something that TalkMU you said. Where did you get this from about his temperament? Because he has had a few red cards, hasn't he? And look, 6 yellow cards this season.
Yeah, he's got a lot of yellow cards.
Let me just cut you quick. I've just seen something from Door on Tour, and I understand you're going to be shooting off because you've got your own show. Get in contact with us. DM any of us here, including the Man United Agenda on Twitter. We're on Instagram. Obviously, we're on YouTube, and we'll get in contact with you, boss. I appreciate it for that, and we'll see you when we see you. Cheers, man.
Yeah, big up.
Or tune in later and watch the final third of the show when we do go in on Garner, because we've got a lot of files on him. Anyway,
I want to say quickly just about
anyway.
this. What you're talking about is this thing. This is what makes me think his whole attitude and his self-importance would be a good fit for Man United. I don't know. There's just something that makes me think a player like that is what we need. We need that kind of swagger. You know, that kind of like I'm the man.
Confidence.
Yeah, you know, but I think again, like I said before, would be short term.
I mean, he's 24. Do you classify? I mean, he's 24, and I'm hearing a lot of short term. What is it? You don't think that if he gets, he would?
No, I think for me, Mr. B, I think he's the kind of player that is in his own mind. He's destined for bigger things, and I think with his next journey, wherever he goes to, he's going to be part of that process. So, if he came to Man United, for example, either played on the left or if he did play down the middle or both, bit of both, and he did really well, and his numbers started to going up, I think then he would have his eyes then set on going to somewhere else, saying,
really?
You know, being like, yeah, I believe so. Yeah,
Can I jump in on this? I do agree with you, Talk, because he has made that rise. He's come from Fluminense and then gone to Watford, and he's really been highly touted since he's got there. And obviously he's gone to Everton at 50 million. Imagine that. They spent 35 with 50 million add-ons and that kind of thing. It's a lot of money for players still not proven. So there is a lot of potential there. And then Ancelotti, who's currently the Real Madrid manager, who was last season manager of Everton, he's also seems to be interested in him as well. His name's been floating about with Real Madrid. So there is that step up there for him. And Manchester United, Real Madrid. Sorry,
was Ancelotti manager when he hit the 13 goals for Everton?
I don't believe so. So in 2018-19, he scored. In 2018-19, he scored 13 goals. I don't think that was last season. Ancelotti was there. 2019-20, he scored 13 goals. But since then, his goal tally hasn't been up to scratch to those sort of numbers anyway. But double figures in the Premiership is not bad, especially considering Everton are maybe not the best team, and everyone talks about Calvin Llewellyn. He's only scored 13 goals in that same season, so interesting that one. But we're moving on. What is the next topic, guys?
Are we going to go with our the files? Or are we going to go with?
Let's go with Captain. Let's go with OMONDI superhero.
All right.
Okay.
I'm going to read this out. I'll try my best because there's news today that Harry Maguire, first of all, he's had a poor season. We all agree he's had a really poor season. And this is England's number one. I'm going to set this up for you guys. Now, he was picked for the recent England squad. Not Harry Maguire. I mean, Southgate may have said that this is a guy. It was a no-brainer for him. He had to go in the squad. He thinks he's a great player for England. He's took him to the World Cup. He's been the first team in the Euros as well, taking them to the finals, semi-final of the World Cup. This is from Gareth Southgate, who clearly is qualified as England manager to sort of talk on Harry Maguire. He did say he's had poor form, but he said there's no doubt in his mind that he has to play him. He's one of the better centre-backs that we have in England, which is possibly true. But there's something wrong with Harry Maguire this season for Man United, and no one's happy. Even myself, who really endorses Harry Maguire, I haven't been happy with him. Series of errors, lacking pace, and being pressed when he's being pressed by players now. It's like people now want to press him all the time because they feel he's going to give up the ball. Lack of communication as well. We've seen so many errors this season. So obviously people are going to talk about his replacement. First of all, his replacement of captain. Now people talking about people coming in to take his place. So let's have a talk about this guy. Over to you, Mr. B, all the way from Dortmund. We've got Manuel Akanji.
Hey, well, look, his stats, depending where you look. I've done a couple of things, couple of bits and pieces, and the only area that Maguire is better than him is at headering. And let's be honest, that's what we would expect from Maguire. So let's look at completed passes. His Maguire's completed passes 1,041, Akanji's 1,254. If you look at the length of the passing, short passing, Akanji is 362 attempted, 334 completed, while Maguire's 293 attempted, 268 conceded, but the percentages are still high. Maguire 91.5% 98% of short passes completed, which was a surprise to me. Akanji 92.3. It's the medium level passes where there seems to be a big difference. Akanji's hitting nearly 700 medium passes. His success rate is 96.4. Maguire's hitting 601, but his percentage rate, completion rate is only 91.5 again. So there is that part of our game is somewhere where ball retention and passing the ball forward. Dribbles, we always laugh at Maguire, not getting into the tackles. Versus players who want to dribble past him. Maguire has attempted 23 and only succeeded in 11. Akanji, they've attacked him 26 times. He's conceded. They've only passed him 8 times. So there again, there seems to be levels above where Akanji looks like he may well be suited for our style. Pressures in game. Again, Akanji's hit him since the season started 184. He's attempted. His success rate is 46.7. Maguire, on the other hand, attempted 140s. His success rate is 34.3. So if we're looking at it as stats, just plain stats, not on the eye, I know we like to look on the eye, then he's already an upgrade.
Okay, so that's a good stat analysis. Over to you, TalkMU. What do you reckon?
Yeah, well, you're talking about the eye test, so that's what I'll give you the eye test then. I'll give you the eye test. You covered the stats there. As you see there from the graphic, pass completion 90%, and his aerials, getting the ball, heading the ball clear 2.2 per game. So yeah, whether that stacks up to Maguire per game, I'm not so sure. But on the eye test, I mean, this, he does look like he would just slot straight in at Old Trafford for me, most definitely. He can see a pass, he can make a pass, good anticipation, good positioning. He's not the fastest. I mean, he's not the fastest, but because of his positioning, he's not lightning fast, Mr. OMONDI. I've seen faster, but he's much faster than Harry Maguire, that's for sure. He can be aggressive with the ball, trying to get the ball back. He's not shy of going after the ball. Can carry the ball as well. Can carry the ball out. Doesn't panic. That's a great thing for me. Is he doesn't panic on the ball. He doesn't ever look flustered. You know what I mean? And that's a big plus. Like I said, great positioning, and even more important than anything, especially because we're playing out from the back. He would have been good in the 4-2-2 because obviously that's what the idea of that is, to play out from the back. His first touch is great. He's got a great first touch. Plays it exactly where he wants it from his first touch to give himself time to look up, have a look, and go, right, bam, I know what I'm going to do. I'm either going to carry the ball or I'm going to make a pass. So he can make the short pass, he can make the long pass. So for me, going with what Mr. Biggs put there and what I've put there, from what I've seen, I think he'd be a great acquisition for the club. I really do.
Okay.
So Monday,
I'm in between. Yeah, go ahead. Okay. I'm in between you guys because I have looked at him in depth, not just over the last few weeks. Now this is a guy. Dortmund. They've got what's his name? Oh God, they got back four. They got a guy called Paslek, who's a right back. But he hardly plays because this guy is playing right back for them when he's really a centre back, in my opinion. So Dortmund have had a poor season this season. They've got like an old man in defence now. Who I would say is old man. Who's the guy who went to Dortmund, was at Dortmund and went back to Bayern and came back again? I forget his name. So they got Hummels. Yeah, that's it. Hummels. Hummels is the old leader at the back. He can't run. He's not very fast anymore. And next to him, he's got Dan Axel Zagadou, who's also centre back. So this guy is not good enough most of the time to get in between them as a centre back. And we're talking about a like-for-like replacement for Harry Maguire. If you guys watched the Champions League this year, the group stages, they got beaten by Ajax, quite taken apart. And one was 4-0, one was 3-1 at home. And the Ajax really ripped them apart. And I felt sorry for them because it was like 4-0 and complete battering. The defence, I'm saying, where's the defence? And at the time, I remember saying to myself, what's happened to Dortmund's defence? Why are they leaking goals? They've got good strikers with Haaland. They've got good midfield and all that kind of thing, Royce and Bellingham, all them guys. But This guy doesn't really stand out to me. Is he a right back? Is he a centre back? I don't know. I saw Bath Time and Vaughan was even questioning that as well. Then they get into the Europa League and they play against Rangers, and Rangers taught them a new one, 4-2, and then went through a 2-2 as well. And that guy Ryan Kent was giving this guy hell. I watched the game. Ryan Kent, the guy with the reject from Liverpool, was giving this guy hell in that game. You know, and it was really bad. Even their left back, the Croatian left back from Rangers was like raiding, and he wasn't doing much, you know. So my question is he's got to have a position? We're not going to go out and sign a player who's like hardly getting in a centre back in his own team. He's ended up pushed out to right back, and he's not really a right back. He's not really a modern day right back, in my opinion. One thing I'll give him is quick. He is quick. Runs down attackers. I mean, he's very fast, actually. He's good at reading the game, good at interceptions, that kind of thing. He's a Switzerland international. He's played 30-odd games. But it's this season, even though Dortmund are second in the league, it is a two-horse league majority of the time. They're second, but they've gone off the boil, in my opinion. I expected them to do big things with the side they had and a goal scorer that gets goals game. And the defence has really let them down. This guy has to be responsible as well. You know, I don't see anything outstanding by him. I'm sorry, but for me, this is a definite no. Judging by what I've seen this season, the goal
definite no, yeah.
Yeah, but you got communication. He's 26 now. He's over the age that we kind of require, and I think he's lacking that communication. He's not a leader. He's just a guy that fits in. Why not go for not Hummels, but why not go for Dan Axel Zagadou, who seems to get in a centre back ahead of him? I just don't get it.
But this is, I mean, for me, this is all about as well as about, like, you know, what the you know, we're talking about managers. We've been talking about managers. This is about potential as well, Monday, isn't it? This is about
26.
You know, but he's still a defender. I mean, you know, 26. He's still like what? He's got a good 4 seasons left in him. You know, again, we're looking at this, and we're not. You know, we are not in a position right now where we can be like looking too long term in sort of going right. Nail that position, nail that, and nail this and nail that. We have to bring players in that can actually get us back into contention.
Can somebody tell
stability can begin?
Can somebody tell me how old Zagadou is, please? Because if he's available, OMONDI, you said
22.
It. To Zagadou, yeah?
Yeah, and Zagadou is a free agent. Sorry, as
right.
Box is saying, free agent.
There you go. So I mean, if Man United, you know, I just hope that somebody at the club is using their head, you know, because you're saying that Zagadou is obviously keeping this so-called centre back out of the team, and Zagadou is available on the free.
Yeah, they mixed it up a lot of time, but Zagadou usually gets in over him. Maybe, but they have. The thing is, he plays right back. You think, oh, they haven't got right backs. They do have right backs at the club, but he's playing over these right backs to get him in. Sorry.
Guys, if you're new to the channel, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you're not new to the channel by now, hopefully you've got that notification bell on. We're on our way to 1.5k. Give us a like, give us a share. As I said,
just to go through some comments now as well. While you're just sitting there liking, guys, I'm going to read out some of your comments on this defensive situation here. Bath Time saying isn't the guy right back. Clearly, Bath Time see him play right back a few times now. He's right. Diz is saying Newcastle, come take Maguire from us, please, and get 8 million back. Diz is saying not sure about Akanji. Haven't seen much of him. We really all haven't. I mean, we don't really get to see much Bundesliga. Bath Time saying he saw Morales, who's the striker from Rangers, rip this guy a new one, as well as Ryan Kent and the rest of the boys. Pat Lord is saying as poor as Maguire is, he's not a worse defender. It's not need for him to be replaced. Matthew Bassett on the defensive issue saying Martinez from Ajax would be a quality addition to our centre-back defence. Bath Time said the eye test, I saw him play twice and he looks like mid-table at best. I agree with him. What about Aaron Wan-Bissaka? This guy's coming in as a centre-back, clearly. He's not coming as a right-back. I want to say good evening to Rebel, all the way from Ireland. How you doing, Rebel? It's evening all. He says media are having a frenzy over links to United. Every dog and his mother's being linked with us at this point, which is true. I mean, Zach, do push pineapple. Anyway, Dortmund got smashed. This guy, with this guy by the G's with strangers. He's not a top four quality player. I agree again with Bath Time for the first time in a long time. Jokes, really, Bath Time, you're cool. Axel will be sold, he says.
Talk about Twanzebe, yeah.
This is they're mocking now, aren't they? These Arsenal fans. Andy Herbert saying, "Amondi, this guy will be another Mustafi like Arsenal had." So,
do, aren't they?
Yeah, and he's free agent. Do you want to say hi to our girl MAISEY? She's in the house. How you doing, MAISEY? Big up, and Stumpy's in the house as well. Yeah. So that's our take. So on this news, I just think, as Rebel was saying, I just think we get a lot of stories coming out. I'm rejecting this after what I've seen from him this year. Not a leader. Can't hold down a position in his own starting 11 with Hummels and the other guy there. And I just think it's a no-no for me.
Hold on, this Maguire thing. I mean, look, come on. Surely, as a Man United fans here, we're not in denial of it. Harry Maguire is not. He's right. Last season, as of last season, he is not good enough for Manchester United. And when it comes to Gareth Southgate talking about his England's this and his England's that, it's like, yeah, Gareth, because you play defensive football, bro. You ain't playing attacking football. So it suits your style of football. Whereas for Man United, we don't want to be playing defensive football. We want to play attacking. That's why Ralph dropped the 4-2-2, because we haven't got the defenders to play out from the back to find the, rather than like a 4-3-3, you've got the 3 lines to play to. In the 4-2-2, he was giving us another line to play to, but they couldn't do that. So that's why he was like, yeah, no, this is not going to work. Scrap that. Let's do it. Go to something else, 4-2-3-1. So I think, you know what, listen, for me, it's quite clear that the board and whichever the manager's going to be are now in. They've made their mind up, in my opinion, that Harry Maguire's not good enough. Whether they'll sell him is another question. I don't think they will sell him because, firstly, we won't get anywhere near what we paid for him. Secondly, again, strength and depth. Maybe if they do, they'll bring somebody in like this guy who's going to challenge Harry Maguire and really get him at it and say to him, look, you've got another season here now. If you can pull yourself through this and improve in the areas that we need you to, maybe then you have a future. But if not, then you're going to have to let you go. I don't see them selling him straight off the bat, though, because we're not going to get, 80 million? No way, are we?
Okay. What do you think, Mr. B? Do we strip Maguire of his captaincy, or do we actually strip him of his shirt and tell him to leave the club?
Look, if I'm, if he gets sold, great, but I don't think anybody's going to buy him. So strip him of his captaincy, because I don't think he will be starting the amount of games that he started this season. And you want a captain who is going to... I'm not interested in club captain and cheerleaders on the side. I want a captain who people believe in on the pitch. So I have no suggestion who it would be or who it would be given to. But I would like to think at the end of the season, things were said at the club. He's not asked. He is actually stripped of it. And then if he throws his toys out the pram, then fine, no problem. Sort yourself out, get your agent to get you a move and play somewhere where you're going to be happy.
I think this is a big one. I mean, the captaincy thing, it's not worth doing it throughout the season. But maybe at the end of the season, when we assess everything, I think maybe then we have to really look at it quite hard, because captaincy should be gone, I believe, from him, just based on his last performances. He's supposed to be a leader out there, and he hasn't really led like that. He's made too many mistakes, and it's getting to the point where he's becoming a laughing stock. As Pat Lord is saying here. TalkMU, just quickly, captaincy, yes or no? Strip him?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. You can't just continue to let him feel that he's, we're still all right with his performances. Stripping the captaincy from him tells him quite clearly not good enough.
Can I answer Box's question here? We lack leaders. Maguire was captain by default. What did he do to earn the right to be captain when he came in?
Maguire. Well, I don't think, when you look at it, when there was no one else at the time, because
so there's still nobody after all of those years at our club.
Quite possibly. Can you think of anyone that deserves that armband?
Well, I would give it to Bruno more than him, but I know a lot of people would probably disagree. But Bruno plays every game. I want my captain to be playing every game.
Okay, surely there's two quite obvious options for me when it comes to put right now, which is too late now anyway. But when they first arrived, it should have been one of the two, either Rafael Varane or Cristiano Ronaldo. You're talking about two major winners of bare trophies, so he should have been one of those two. You know, give them the challenge.
Barco's thrown him McTominay.
Um,
Do you know what? If in regards to that, yeah, I would say, yeah, definitely he would lead them by that whole growling. But bruv, man, if my captain can't pass a shit, I have no interest. Don't tell me nothing in it. So I wouldn't be having McTominay as my captain.
So I don't think, just to be fair, I don't think the majority of people, I'm just getting a feel from the comments and from the panel as well, I don't think people are saying Harry Maguire must leave the club. It's just that maybe he should be stripped of captaincy and we need to get a defender in on top of that as well.
Yeah.
So he's maybe can sit on the bench and have to prove himself, because we can't rely on him maybe going forward with this form. But I still have faith he can get it back at some point. We have to see. I'm not sure. But anyway, we're moving on because coming to the final segment of the show. Once again, guys, as Mr. B growled at you earlier to say, press the like button. Do it now while we're going through to the next subject. And if you like the show, put a comment in as well, and we'll read it out and see if you're talking facts or and a lot of sense out here. That's what we like to see. Anyway, Mr. B, what's the third and final thing we're talking about here?
Garner. Is he ready? Is this guy who nobody seemed to have seen, but everybody seems to have heard about? Is he ready to hold down a place in our central midfield for next season? I mean,
can I build this one up?
Yeah, of course you can. Build it.
All right. Because, guys, like I said, when we're talking about the first segment about Richarlson, there will be players leaving. We need to have a clear out, and then we mentioned players like Cavani, Martial, Ronaldo, Greenwood, Rashford could maybe not be there anymore. When we talk about James Garner, James Garner's been on loan. I'm just going to read out. This is all I'm going to do for you guys. I'm just going to read out some information from the Rockford Files on James Garner. Now, this season's been really important for James Garner because he's had 3 games where he's been live on terrestrial TV in the FA Cup, beating Arsenal, beating Leicester, thumping Leicester actually, and beating Liverpool as well, and it could be a man-of-match performance. Roy Keane, here's quotes. Roy Keane, scintillating form this season. He's technically very good. He likes to sit a little deeper and than his partner Yates in midfield. This is from Roy Keane. It's high praise alone. His teammate, Jack Colbeck, who's played in the Premiership Newcastle, technically very good, he says. Jimmy has made a difference because when he's on it with his delivery, it's obscene how good he can be. Okay? From a pro. Trevor Sinclair, ex-England international. We all know Trev. He says deliveries remind me of Beckham. He's got that dip and whip, and it causes so many problems. The pace on the ball, putting it on a sixpence every time. Bruno Fernandes says, I really like him and the way he kicks the ball. He's really aggressive off the ball too. Martin Keown, he says, I like the way he's developing, growing as a player, confidence. Man United need to be thinking about getting him back in there quickly. This is all this season, guys. Traore, the ex-Arsenal wing-back, he says he's an absolute baller. What a player. You watch him play with such maturity, he reminds me of Xavi Alonso. He makes everything look so simple and look easy. He's hard in the tackle, long and short-range passing is amazing. In 18 months, don't be surprised to see him in the England squad. He's that good. Paul Robinson, he says he's an example of why players are sent out on loan. He can play at the top level. I don't think he's the one who will go straight into the Man United team just yet, but he will be a first-team player very soon in the future. Those are quotes from proper pros who probably know more than us lot here. What do you guys, let's work on this now. James Garner, he's been on loan at Watford, played 20 games, 2020, 21, half the season, went back to Forest. He really enjoyed it there, played 20 games, 4 goals, and this season played 31 games, 3 goals so far, and he loves the club. But even when last year, when during the summer break, he was still on the WhatsApp group with Nottingham Forest, and he's got a good management there. He's really taken care of, and he's playing every game. He's getting his confidence up, and we're starting to see the development of a really good player. Just last point I want to make: I watched him under 21s for England, and in the midfield there was Palmer, the left-footed guy from Man City. This is a midfield 3. Conor Gallagher and Garner, and they played a beautiful game. It's one of the best games I've seen from under 21s. That 3 in midfield was amazing. Now, Palmer's playing in the Premiership with Man City. He's getting a lot of appearances now and then. And obviously, we've seen Conor Gallagher, who I think is an amazing player. So, Garner, he must be looking for the step up next season. Guys, fire away. I'll start with you, TalkMU. What do you think about all this, Garner?
Yeah, man, this kid's got bags, and I mean bags of potential. I mean, let's look at his stats there. I mean, expected goals 2.46, expected assists 4.64. I mean, it's really great. That's really good numbers. That, you know what I mean, for his position. In terms of him for Manchester United, you know, I think it's about time. We all know what our club motto is: youth, courage, greatness. They need to start showing some of that now, and giving youngsters like this, you know, an opportunity, because this kid has got so many, as you've just read out from all these other pros who've been watching him, you know, strong on the ball. He's measured when he's on the ball. He doesn't just do things just for the sake of it. You know what I mean? He's got a really good football brain. He can see a pass, not just any pass from the midfield, but also when he does carry the ball forward into dangerous areas, he's intelligent enough and good enough to hold the ball and wait and just think, bam, into a really dangerous area, into the box. Skillful, first touch, good first touch, shows for the ball, loves to attack the space as well. He likes to attack the space. He's always looking. He sees the space. As soon as he gets the ball, wallop, he's off. Even if he's got to, you know, go into an area where he's might not feel most comfortable, he'll still go because there's space there, and he'll use it well, and he'll do something good with the ball. He won't give the ball away very, very cheaply. And for me, I just think come on, they've got to start giving these, you know, these youngsters a shot in the first team. If not now, when? You know, but he does have to be managed correctly. We can't do what we've done to Marcus, you know, just wallop him in and burn him out and just be like game after game after game after game. They've got to be managed correctly. But again, this goes back to the size of the squad. You know what I mean? So for me, strength and depth for next season, this kid's got to be in the mix, surely.
Okay, so there was a couple of things that you mentioned there. You said about him receiving, in him showing for the ball.
Mm-hmm.
That already is appealing to me, because go for the ball, they always hide behind a player, so they're not free to make the pass. What I do like about him is he's good. I don't know I'm not sure if anti-press is a word, but you know, when obviously he's picked up the ball and somebody's coming, he will just either step right or left and go past them. He doesn't have to pass to go past the player. For him to be at that age and already know how to do that, these are things that I look at. Him playing men's football for that season and a half has helped his brain as well. So him coming, he's already our player. So the fact that go on.
No, I was going to say the other thing there is as well is the experience that he's now picked up playing at Forest. Forest are a big club, we know that. You know, they've got a great history. They're doing okay in the league right now, and you know what? I mean, it's just quite clear to me. They need to. The club need to show some bravery now. We want bravery from our young players. It's now time for them to be brave and go. Come on, here's your chance. You know, come and do it. I
think, say for example, if we got Ten Hag coming in, I think Ten Hag would look at this guy and he's got all the attributes to be a good Ten Hag kind of player. He might not be physically as strong or look physically as strong as we might want for a Premiership player, but when it comes to IQ, brains, first touch, ability, look at the raving reviews he's getting. I think he would suit a new manager coming in, and hopefully we need to be brave enough to sort of start bringing these players in. He's 20, 21 now. He's just proved it. I mean, we've seen it live now. It's not like we see highlights of the Championship. We've seen live games on BBC or whatever channel, terrestrial TV, of him playing. And even Klopp. I mean, can I just go through some comments here? Because while we're at it, everyone's talking about him now. We've got boxes saying Garner had Liverpool on strings. Think about that. Did they win 1-0 Liverpool that game?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, come on. That's a really big endorsement. Barthon saying, I've seen him play once. If he's physically ready for top 40, top class matches
doesn't know if he's physically ready for 40.
Yeah.
I mean, look.
Yeah, but he wouldn't play that many order.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is as well, what you got to remember, that the turnover in games in the Championship, there's less rest time. And the fact that he's able to keep playing 30, he's played 31 games already.
Yeah.
You know, and he's still got, what have they still got? I'm sure they've still got 10 or 11 games left to play. Sorry? 46. Right. Yeah, so I don't think he has an issue he'll have an issue playing. I know the Premiership is a higher division, but I agree with somebody. It's harder playing in the Championship because you get no rest. You're Tuesday, Saturday, Tuesday, Friday. You know, it's that constant.
And they come through you. They really, it's a physical lead. They do come through you. But less time you do in the Prem. I do believe that. Matthew Bassett says Garner deserves to be in the squad next season. He balled in the Championship and against Arsenal, Leicester, and almost Liverpool. They almost got through. Matt Lawler said Jimmy couldn't do any worse. The lad has been injury free and he's on up. Go on, Jimmy. That's Jimmy as in James. Barfan said Trevor Sinclair is a div, so we count out that comment from Trev. Box is saying we need to sign Garner.
Get him in, get him back for the new season.
Guys, got 13 likes. Come on, let's get more likes out here. 13 in the chat. So chat. Richard Herbert said the club's always been about youth. Put him in like Fergie used to mix up in the first team, and young ones play off the bench for the last 25 minutes. If we're winning, breed him in. And God, Fergie used like God first. Okay, we understand what he's trying to say. Bath Time saying, so why didn't we go for Kessie? Kessie's just signed for Barcelona, hasn't he?
Yeah, this is what he's saying. Is this why we're going for Garner? I think
it's really Cosman's in the house. Final one from me. He says that Klopp even talked to him and appreciated his effort and quality on the ball. So there's a player there, isn't there? Lastly, press resistant. We know that.
That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, I call it anti-press resistant.
Playing in Championship is harder than in Premier League.
Just want to say, in terms of this physicality thing, listen, when you're a really good player, a great player, you don't necessarily have to be, a big bulky unit, because if you're clever enough and you are getting pressured and you protect the ball correctly, you get, 9 out of 10 times you're winning a free kick. You're winning a free kick. When you're a clever player, you don't need. I've seen loads of players who not the most physically strong, but because they're so clever with the ball, you try and get the ball off them. They turn the body in a certain shape, certain way. You try and get the ball. And they're down.
It's where you shield the ball. I think that is important. I do look at Garner. I do see what you say. People are saying. I look at him. I think, he looks skinny and rakey. He's not ready for it. But then we got like someone like Chong, who's playing for Birmingham this season in the Championship, and he's playing pretty decent apparently. But I always felt that he didn't look strong enough. But it can be deceiving sometimes. Some of these guys are really wiry and strong and can really survive. So look, we're going to round up the show. I want to just appreciate everyone who's commented today, because there's been a lot of really good comments coming from you guys. Pat Lawless, I'm just reading here, says, I'm starting to feel there's a place in the side for you for next year. It's like Ralph is waiting until he clears out the bad attitude and gets them introduced into the team.
Right. Remember, Amondi, remember I said to you, I think there's a plan at Old Trafford. And listen, bruv, I know I keep saying it. It might not be the Champions League qualification that we wanted, but I'm telling you, as much as we hate these motherfuckers, something is going on. Something is going on. And I really do believe, like, those youth players are going to come in. They're going to have the coach who we pray comes in.
Keep praying with me. I'm praying with you, bro.
Oh, my God.
So overall, let's just summarize now. We're going to wind down the show. Once again, I want to say a big up to everybody who's commented today. My thing is, we talked about Harry Maguire. I think Harry Maguire should stay, and we should get in a player. I'm not sure about the guy we spoke about. I think we can do a lot better than that. We talked about James Garner. I'm really excited about him. We've seen him play. Bringing the youths, as TalkMU would say, bringing them in and give them some more experience. But when you're playing like 46 games in the season, then suddenly you're on the bench and all that kind of thing, could kill your flow. It's all about confidence a lot of time, these young boys. Hopefully he can find a place in the team. Depends what happens. And finally, Richarlson. At first I was like, hell no. But then when I start to think about it, I think as a squad player, it could be a decent signing. Over to you. Just wind it up, guys. Say goodbye.
Talk. I'll let you do before I say my goodbyes.
I agree. I totally agree. I mean, the Maguire issue needs sorting sharpish. Yeah, again, whether Akanji is the actual replacement, I don't know, but I think he is an option, especially when it comes to value. I think that it's an option for us. And in terms of Garner, yeah, come on. If we bring him in and play him correctly, like I said before, don't burn him out. We're not going to bring this kid in and start just playing him every single game. It's not going to work like that. We don't need to do that. But we've got to, in my opinion, we've got to bring him in and at least get him in, even if it's to the cup games to start with, you know, and then see how how he fits in. But yeah, we've got to make these decisions. And Richarlson could be good value for money, but again, it's all down to the price.
Mr. B, I'll leave you the last word. See us home.
Richarlson, no. Maguire, definitely to lose the captaincy. Like you, OMONDI. I'm not really sure about Akanji, but I know he's better than Maguire. So right now, whether we talk about squad players with Richarlison, is it enough that we're going for these squad players? But again, if we get the right coach in, coaches coach players to become better players. You understand? So if that's what's happening, if that's what they see, there's a little gem or there's something there that they can work on, I'll accept that. Garner, I think, is a no-brainer. Man United, do what you need to do. You get him back nice and early. As soon as that season finishes, you send him away for 2 weeks to get all of that lactose out of his leg. Let him go IB for these boys, because that's what they do at that age. Or Dubai. No, probably not Dubai, because he won't be able to drink. But then maybe Dubai is a good place because he shouldn't be drinking. So maybe he just go to Dubai, just chill out and relax. You get him back in the club nice and early to put a smile on all of our faces. Definitely all in for Garner.
Okay, so the files on Maguire replacement, we can bin them. We keep Richarlison and Garner on file, and we could return to that quite soon. Mr. B, you're back on Friday night, I take it?
Yes, with Talk. We have a couple of guests on there. I'm not sure who they are, but we'll get it out
probably
there.
Martin and Paddy, I imagine.
Okay.
Martin, new guys, so make sure you tune in. And obviously at 8:30 on Friday night, we're doing a quiz show, and that'll be Anthony Herbert. Anthony, yes, it's you. So
you know what? I can't wait to see that. Sorry,
well,
I can't wait.
You will be tuning in, I hope so. Anyway, God bless you guys. Lovely show. I think we settled a few things here. Great information. And we'll see you very soon. God bless.
Yeah. Ciao.